What happens if we don't take care of our oceans? The reefs and wildlife that we know today will disappear, and the vibrant blue colors that make up the ocean will fade to a murky green as all beautiful forms of life slowly fade away. Our oceans are dying, and in order to save them, the United Nations created a UNESCO goal called Life Below Water. The goal focuses on sustainably managing and protecting marine ecosystems from pollution, as well as addressing the impacts of ocean acidification and climate change. Without help, the water temperature will increase about 1.5 degrees Celsius in the next 5 years, which may not seem like a lot, but would result in the loss of rivers and mountain glaciers and an increase in landslides because the permafrost that holds mountain regions together would melt. Hotter water temperatures also mean that there will be less oxygen in the water, so many animals will be forced to migrate, which will result in the death of many species, as they are not acclimated to living in new conditions. Living by the oceans will also cause illness because warmer water spreads pathogens like bacteria. This increase in temperature will also cause a reaction called coral bleaching to occur. When the ocean water gets too warm, corals will expel the algae living in their tissues, which causes the coral to turn white, therefore bleaching it. Essentially, the coral gets stressed by the change in temperature, and if the water stays too hot for too long, the coral won't let the algae back in, and will die because they have a mutually beneficial relationship. Over 50% of the world's coral has been destroyed due to bleaching, and if changes aren't made, there will be no reefs left in the next 100 years, endangering more than half of the world's marine population, as they depend on the reef as their home. The coral reefs that have been bleached are a potential host site for ocean dead zones, which are areas of the ocean with little oxygen and no sea life, as shown in the first few seconds of this video. After the Great Barrier Reef in Australia, Belize is home to the second largest reef in the world. Located in Central America with a population of 400,446 people, Belize is 6 times smaller than Florida and is one of the least populated countries in the world. They are ranked 146 on Index Mundi with a GDP of $8,300 per person per year. They depend heavily on the income that the reef brings. Reef-associated tourists spend an estimated $150 to $196 million on accommodation, reef recreation, and other expenses, which equals about 12 to 15% of the total GDP for Belize. So if the reefs were to bleach and die, Belize would lose income. Losing the reefs would also impact the coastline communities in Belize. Coral reefs act as natural barriers, canceling out 97% of a wave's strength before it hits the shore and protecting more than 200 million people. Building a seawall for the same protection costs $2.5 million per mile, which Belize would be unable to afford after the income deficit from lack of reef tourism due to coral bleaching. Coral also prevents erosion. Without it, coastal communities could be flooded. Losing the Belize Barrier Reef due to coral bleaching would not only be detrimental to the environment, but also to the people and economy of Belize. The country depends on the natural resource for income, job opportunities, and as a food source. With the UN goal, Life Below Water, the Belize Barrier Reef has a chance to be saved, as well as stopping its coral bleaching in order to save the economy of Belize, animals that inhabit the reef, and the coastal communities surrounding it.